This is not a dream. We are using your preferred podcast provider as a receiver.
Hello and welcome to Live from Manchester Morgue. I'm Gary. This is Ken.
Welcome to episode 2.
Welcome to episode 2. Yeah, so in keeping with our very minor theme, which we don't want to rule everything we do, tonight's episode is going to be another recommendation for a pair of films that you could watch as a double bill, a double feature, if you will. That make great companion pieces in our view. First up, we've got 1996's From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's like the distribution is like 95, but I think it came to the UK in 96.
96. I definitely watched it when I was 16, which was 96.
My mum used to infuriate me because she called it From Dusk Until Dawn.
I'm infuriated.
That's not what it's called.
That's infuriated me.
It's not what it's called, Mum.
It's like when people say the song is killing in the name of. It's not killing in the name of. There's no of on the end of the song title. It's killing in the name. Stop it.
Yeah.
Anyway, From Dusk Till Dawn.
For Dusk Till Dawn, which is... oh, God, what can we say?
Hopefully a lot, because we've got about 20-25 minutes to get through about this subject.
Yeah. So, written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez, two absolute legends of the medium, starring who would go on to be one of the biggest A-list stars ever, George Clooney, and Tarantino himself in all his feet-sucking glory.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
We've all seen it. So for the youngsters out there, has anyone ever seen the meme of just like trust Tarantino, the man with the foot fetish, to cast Salma Hayek in a film and then cast himself to drink tequila from her foot?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing he would do.
Yes.
And did.
So this is the hook of this film. This is the ultimate film that is first it was one thing, then it's the other. Right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So in the before time, in what we call the Dust Bowl world, where there was no internet, I think it was like, so when I was a kid, so I was like, 96? So 12, 13, 97 when it would have came out on VHS in the UK. I hadn't even started buying film magazines anymore.
Okay.
I hadn't bought film magazines yet. No internet, no nothing, no coverage. I specifically I rented this from the man with the videos in the back of his van.
Oh, did you have a video van man?
Oh yeah. Came around to our street like every week. I loved him. Some of my most formative experiences in film were from the man with the videos in the back of his van. I specifically watched it because me and my mum used to watch ER, and George Clooney was in it.
Ah, right. Okay.
So this is before I'd seen Reservoir Dogs or anything like that.
I vaguely knew who he was because I vaguely knew what ER was. I didn't watch ER.
Yeah, and my mother, like many mothers, like millions of mothers in the world, were fans of George Clooney at the time.
Yes, I believe they were, weren't they?
And I just liked the front cover. It looked cool because they were holding guns. They didn't even really know who Quentin Tarantino was.
Well, yeah, I mean, I must admit, similarly, I didn't really know anything about the film going into it. And I looked out because I was with my girlfriend at the time and we'd arranged to sit and rent a film and watch a film.
Mm.
And I very specifically remember she went out and had, with the intention of renting Clueless, because she said it was 8 and I'd never seen it. And they didn't have it in the shop, so she came back with From Dusk Till Dawn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looked out. I mean, saying that, Clueless is a great film.
Well, Clueless is mint. Yeah, I'm not disparaging Clueless. It's just that's how I ended up watching From Dusk Till Dawn for the first time.
Yeah.
Which I do prefer, obviously, being the co-host of a horror podcast.
Yeah. So going into this, we're a spoilery podcast, but
we are.
If you somehow have not seen From Dusk Till Dawn, and you don't want to go out and try and find out what the plot is, you want to try and blind rent it from some streaming service or whatever, and don't read the synopsis, stop right now, go to the second half of this where we're not talking about Dusk Till Dawn, and watch it.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I've said that.
Having said that, if you haven't seen From Dusk Till Dawn, I think it's fairly unlikely that you will have seen our second feature, which is Demon Knight, Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight.
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night.
Demon Night.
Or Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Night.
Tales from the Crypt, Demon.
Demon.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn, basically, it's almost split so evenly down the middle.
Yeah.
It is a Tarantino-ass gangster flick for the first half.
Robbers on the run.
Two robbers, Richie and Gordon Gekko. Gordon Gekko? No, he's not. That's Michael Douglas in...
Richie and Seth Gekko.
Gordon Gekko's Michael Douglas in Wall Street.
Of course it is, yeah. Seth Gekko.
Seth Gekko and Richie Gekko. One's a psychopath and a rapist, which kind of sucks about this film, kind of.
Yeah, and I don't even... It was so unnecessarily there.
It was
like, weird.
Yeah. But there's kind of an explanation for that, kind of. So, like, not an explanation for him being a rapist, but, like... God, it's only the second episode.
Oh.
So...
It's not as you mean to go.
Richie Gekko is the psycho, and, of course, played by George Clooney, Seth is the cool one.
Yeah, who's not a psycho.
Yeah, although... The tattoo that he has on his arm was inspired by the tattoo that Tamora Morrison has on Once Were Warriors. The New Zealand film about domestic violence. Yeah. So, okay. So he is the cool one, but he's got a wife beater's tattoo on his arm.
Yeah, I mean, Tamora Morrison in that film is... Yeah, he's a deeply unpleasant man.
Yeah. Harvey Keitel's in it. Again, you'll have known him for Pulp Fiction if you were coming into this like fresh in the day.
It's got a stacked cast.
Oh, the cast is insane. The opening as well is very Tarantino. You've got John Hawkes, you've got Michael Parks, who's a veteran actor who's in a lot of Tarantino films.
That microwave will kill you faster than a bullet.
Yeah, yeah. So you got the Tarantino banter at the beginning, then the violence, more gangster shit, more gangster shit, more gangster shit, and then they go to hide out in a club in the middle of the desert called the Titty Twister.
Near the Mexican border, because that's where they're trying to run off to with all their stolen, ill-gotten gains.
Yeah, and because of the films that we pick, we say the word iconic a lot in this podcast, but apologies. But the Titty Twister is one of the most iconic locations in horror cinema, especially the speech that Cheech Marin does to describe
especially the guy who's trying to lure in the punters.
Yeah. And then they get in there, long story short... It's full of vampires.
It's full of vampires out of nowhere. Boom! Vampires fucking everywhere.
Vampires run the Titty Twister.
The band who plays on the stage is
vampires.
The strippers, vampires. The bar guy, vampire.
Danny Trejo shaped bar guy.
Danny Trejo is the bar guy. He's a vampire.
So these two gangsters, one of which is a complete psychopath. Harvey Keitel, who's like a fallen minister, who's lost his faith.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis is his daughter. Oh, I can't remember the actor's name that played the son. He's like you get the impression he's adopted because he's Asian. He's Asian.
Yeah, or maybe the mum was Asian as well.
Well, I mean,
you don't see a picture of it.
There's a clear difference in demographics between the daughter and the son. So I made a horribly racist assumption.
Well, no, but I mean, but also you never see what the mum looks like, so it could be her.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So yeah, and they all fight vampires, and then we throw into the mix Tom Savini, who the legendary effects person Tom Savini, who plays a character called Sex Machine, who looks a bit like his character Machete in Dawn of the Dead, which is kind of cool. Yeah. But he also has a dick revolver. He has a codpiece that is like a retractable,
into a little silver
shaped like a dick.
Yeah.
You got the legendary blaxploitation actor Fred Williamson, who plays your big cigar chomping like cool guy. Danny Trejo plays like the barman in the Titty Sister, turns out to be a vampire. Salma Hayek plays the head... Well, she's not... Is she the head vampire?
I don't know. You kind of get the impression she is.
Yeah, so Santanico Pandemonium, which is a...
I think if there is a head vampire, it's probably her.
Yeah. So she plays like the head stripper, who is also the head vampire. Santanico...
snake.
Yeah, Santanico Pandemonium, which is a reference to a Mexploitation film of the same name.
I think it's revealed in a later sequel. That's not her name, though, is it?
No.
A stage name or something.
Yeah. Oh, you get her origin in one of the sequels, because the sequel's literally called The Handmaid's Daughter.
Yeah.
The sequels are terrible.
Yeah, they're not very good. I think that one's better than the rest. The Hangman's Daughter, the period piece is better than the others, but they're not. Yeah. None of them are particularly good. One's got Bon Jovi in it.
Oh yeah, it does. The series is alright.
I didn't get very far into it, honestly.
Yeah, they did 3 seasons. The series is more like a remake.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got this amazing cast. You got this Tarantino script. It's very much like, so yeah, imagine watching it in 1996 and not having any context for what it is.
Yep.
You don't. back in the olden days, when you rented a film, if your mum went out or your parents went out and brought a film back, you wouldn't see the case, would you?
No.
You just see a blank tape, and they put it in, and you'd watch a film, you'd have no context, and it was beautiful. In the time before the internet, it was beautiful. So I watched it like that, and the moment that vampires come out, and then they kind of like they close the doors, lock it, and then all of the cool characters from the Titty Twister turn into vampires. Yeah, you just like what? It was mind blowing.
It turns everything on its head. Everything you thought, every preconception you had about this film is destroyed in an instant. And it becomes this fucking awesome siege movie.
Awesome siege movie with these kind of these Tarantino archetypes of like gangsters and like holy men and 1970s exploitation characters.
Hyper violent, hyper cool, gory violence, and
so there's a great horror history to this. So there's a great cinema history to this film actually. So Robert Kurtzman, have we ever done a Wishmaster film?
No, we haven't.
We should do a Wishmaster film.
Yeah.
Because then I get to say wishes. So Robert Kurtzman, another effects legend, director of the Wishmaster 1 and 2, I think. Yeah. He wanted a script based on that concept. He wanted like gangsters go to a strip club and it's all vampires. Someone told him about a nerdy video store clerk that was trying to sell spec scripts, which was Tarantino.
Yeah.
So this is back pre Reservoir Dogs, so this is pre 1992.
Sure.
And he sold it for a couple of grand, I think. Tarantino sold it to Robert Kurtzman. Well, he said to Robert Kurtzman, I'll write this script about vampires for you for a couple of grand, but you've got to do my movie Reservoir Dogs. You've got to do the effects for free. And Robert Kurtzman is the guy that did the ear chopping off effects for Reservoir Dogs. Okay. So time goes on. Tarantino makes Reservoir Dogs, makes a splash. They still want to get this script off the ground. There's a period in 1995 when the next film we're going to talk about, Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, is more popular than anyone expected. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like a Demon Siege movie.
Yeah.
And Robert Kurtzman's like, right, this was really popular. Producers, can we get my Dusk Till Dawn script off the ground? And they're like, nah, still umming and ahhing. And then what came out? Pulp Fiction. And completely blew the tits off.
Yeah.
Every single student in the Western world had a poster of Uma Thurman. Yeah, everyone wanted to be Tarantino. Everyone wanted to be a filmmaker. Basically, it changed the world. Changed culture. Did Pulp Fiction. So then Dusk Till Dawn.
Needless to say, that was greenlit very shortly thereafter.
Yes, yeah. Studios were like, any time that Quentin Tarantino put his finger on a typewriter, we want to finance that. So Dusk Till Dawn. He's busy mates with Robert Rodriguez. They're both kind of indie kids. Like they came up together in cinema. They're best mates. So he brings him on board, casts himself as Richie Gecko. I wonder why.
Well, who knew?
Yeah.
Who could imagine why?
And then it gets made. Robert Kurtzman. It was the effects house's K&B Effects Studio, which is Greg Nicotero, Howard Berger, and Robert Kurtzman. People who cut their teeth in the Evil Dead films.
Of course, yeah. Greg Nicotero is a legend. Isn't he?
Greg Nicotero is the kind of like post Tom Savini industry legend. He worked a lot with Tom Savini, did Day of the Dead with him and everything like that.
He did The Walking Dead, didn't he?
Did The Walking Dead. Yeah. So like Greg Nicotero is the current name in effects even to this day. It's in practical effects. So KB Studios comes out, gets shot. They were looking around for like Seth Gecko, and I think the story goes, I think I saw in an interview recently, Tarantino just saw him on the front of GQ and was like, what about this guy? He'd also directed an episode of VR, which is a great episode.
Okay.
So he directed an episode of VR. So yeah, they got Clooney on, and if you
just like that, all right, come on, Clooney's on.
Well,
board.
Yeah, so he's just the R at this moment, so he'd not. This was his first.
You forget, don't you? Because I mean, as I said before, I had a vague awareness of who he was, but it was after this, he was just mega stardom.
Yeah, this is. Not a lot of actors that made it to the stratosphere of like the A-list started off like this.
He became Batman.
Yeah, I mean that's that you can't get much higher than
become Batman, do you?
So yeah, they got George Clooney. I think there's a nice little anecdote on the special features for the Blu-ray for this. It's great. Where they just like, we got him straight out of VR. It was his first main feature. He didn't really know what he was doing, and he worked his ass off. And he's great in it. So it's just like
Yeah,
it's
it
just this
is,
mad film about vampires in a strip club, and you've got one of the biggest, who would be the biggest star in the world, just really fucking loving it.
Yeah.
And he's got some of the best moments in the film. He's got some of the best lines.
Yeah.
Like "Welcome to slavery." I mean, it's a bad line. Let's not go into cancelable territory.
But I mean, if we're talking about a film that
We're talking about a
basically
B-movie.
inspired by exploitation and grindhouse movies of
Exactly.
the 70s, I think it's fair to
The spirit of
appreciate
it.
the spirit of it when he refers to being married as slavery.
So yeah, Salma Hayek, "Welcome to slavery," and he's like, "No thanks, I already had a wife."
Yeah, exactly. Of course,
great.
it's sexist, but it's
There's a lot.
it's in the spirit of the whole proceeding. So
there's a lot
we'll
of
forgive
other
it.
problematic things about this film, like Tarantino's Richie Gecko, not Tarantino's character, but like Richie Gecko, he's I don't know what mental health issue he has, but like he imagines things, and it leads him to do horrible things like rape and kill women.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back on it, those aren't the bits of the film that I enjoy, for quite good reasons.
Of course.
Yeah. I like the whole. So I think it's all part of the setup. If you look back on it, if you want to try and make amends with those parts of the film, Richie's kind of psychosis and like obviously they kidnapped this family with Harvey Keitel. This is before the vampires.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel also obviously a very well respected and massive actor at the time.
And he's playing against
at that point.
He's playing against type here. He's playing like the nice guy. He's playing a non-gangster type.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Juliette Lewis is like the young daughter of the family, and like Richie imagines her asking her to do things to him, and it's like if it hadn't gone into vampire territory, that could have been a dynamic for the film, because Seth is like the more moral of the brothers, and like they could have came to blows. But then they kind of do when it turns into vampires. You get rid of Richie quite fast. He turns into a vampire and Seth kills him.
That's it. Not only is the bar populated with vampires, and every fucker in there is a vampire, they make more vampires because they bite people, and then everyone else becomes a vampire.
And they turn into vampires,
Yeah, just more and more vampires.
So you get gigantic blaxploitation legend Fred Williamson turns into a big massive like vampire with his like big rubber traps.
Yeah, and he's got a big weird.
He's got a bat face,
jaw mouth thing, like a snake bat thing. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, he's
cool.
He's got a cool bat face. Tom Savini turns into a Batman. A Batman. Well, yeah, he does turn into a Batman.
if we're calling vampires Batmen.
Yeah. Danny Trejo is already a vampire, but he's cool.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo's great in literally anything, and he's looked the same for the past 50 years. He looks like a 90-year-old man, but like hench.
Salma Hayek's a vampire already.
She's like the queen of the vampires, or one of the queens.
Quentin becomes a vampire.
And then quickly dies.
Harvey becomes a vampire.
Yeah. Cheech Marin's already a vampire.
He's already a vampire.
So Cheech Marin, who plays a couple of roles in this, which is great. Very old-fashioned to have like one actor play different roles. But yeah, cast, everything. Oh, it's just great.
Yeah,
how many
film. Banging soundtrack.
Amazing soundtrack. So we used to be a music podcast way back when, in the olden days. And we used to have quite a heavy focus on music. It's not going to be going forward, but I had to just list some. So this is in the full soundtrack, but we got Dark Knight by the Blasters.
Yeah, incredible.
We got Foolish Heart by the Mavericks. She's Just Killing Me by ZZ Top, which is an amazing song.
Yeah, I think Mexican Blackbird's on there as well, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Mary Had a Little Lamb by Stevie Ray Vaughan, or his group at the time. Can't remember what they're called.
Banging.
Angry Cockroaches by Tito and the Tarantulas.
Am
I right in thinking like the band is like, is it Los Lobos? Like the band that plays in the Titty Twister, who is also like, I think the lead singer is also in Desperado.
That's Tito and Tarantula.
That's it. Yeah,
They do Dark Knight as well. No, not Dark Knight. Sorry, After Dark.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't know if they're called that in the film. I don't know if the band has a different name, but that's Tito and Tarantula.
Yeah,
I believe.
But yeah,
who are vampires?
Vampires,
Surprisingly,
yeah.
they are also vampires.
They're all Batman.
They're all Batman.
I love the effects work. There's another crossover with what we're going to talk about in a second, Demon Knight. I like how Billy Zane's in Demon Knight. Billy Zane's like lower caste demons.
Yes.
Are kind of like there's vampires in this that are kind of like...
there are scenes that are quite reminiscent. I noticed when I was rewatching the other day. There's like I can't remember which pointer from Dusk Till Dawn it is, but it might be right towards the end actually. But there's a bit where someone's looking at this just big assembled crew of vampires, and they're all kind of stood there moving weirdly. in an ethereal kind of non-human way. And there's another shot like that when the demons first appear in Demon Knight.
Yeah, when he's
when
like,
you see them all coming out of the ground and stuff, they're all just stood there kind of being weird and like swaying and things.
Very
it really
similar.
reminded me of that.
I'm thinking now, because I only recently found out about like the financing connection between Demon Knight and Dusk Till Dawn. I'm thinking now, Dusk Till Dawn comes after Demon Knight. They'll definitely been looking at that for reference.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. They must have been. But yeah, from one banging soundtrack to another, as you say, because what Demon Knight had, it was a very metal heavy soundtrack, but it was great. It had Filter was on there, had Hey Man Nice Shot was on it.
I love that song.
It had Machine Head was on it with a song called My Misery, which listening to the lyrics, it sounds like it was written for the film.
Yeah.
Then you had Sepultura, I think, with Pantera on there.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when like B-movie horrors and stuff, like, or even action films, like the metal band at the time would make a song for the film.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was shit, but it was like mostly great.
Well, what was it? Dream Warriors?
Yeah.
Docking did Dream Warriors. Alice Cooper doing The Man Behind the Mask for Friday the 13th, Part 6, or whatever, whichever one it was. Yeah, there were loads of them, weren't there? We had Rollins Band were on there.
So
I think Sepultura, Pantera on it? Yeah, Cemetery Gates was on it.
So we're talking about Tales from the Crypt : or Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight.
We can if you're ready to move on from.
Yeah. So Tales from the Crypt presents I think
Tales from the Crypt presents : Demon.
Yeah. 1995, directed by Ernest R. Dickerson. Dickerson. Don't make fun. Not a well-known director, but he kind of made his name with the film Juice with Tupac Shakur.
Oh, really? That one?
Which is very kind of famous, formative kind of black cinema film of the 90s.
Yeah, I watched that way back when.
Which explains a lot about what makes this so great, because like Jada Pinkett Smith.
Well, she's Jada Pinkett in this.
Jada Pinkett.
She's pre-Smith, pre-Will.
Yeah, her character.
Pre-Big Willie style.
It's really fun to describe Demon Knight now, because it's a mid-90s like schlocky horror film, but it stars essentially the hero or the emerging hero is like a black woman who ends the film as a like demon slayer using the blood of Jesus Christ to take it to the dark forces of
led by the Billy Zane.
Yeah.
So the first guy, she takes on the mantle of the Demon Knight from William Sadler. The amazing
William Sadler.
Death from the Bill and Ted franchise.
Yeah.
What else has he been in? He was in the Shawshank Redemption.
I mean, he's in loads of things. He's like the bad. He's Colonel Stewart, the bad guy in Die Hard 2.
Oh,
that's like practicing Tai Chi naked in front of his TV.
Yeah.
I don't know why of all the film I always go to that scene, but he's shredded in it.
Yeah, he is. I'd forgotten all about that. You just unlocked a core memory for me.
It's one of the best things in the film, because when he turns off the TV in like a kung fu move, he kind of turns around and whips and like he's naked as naked as Jaybird as well.
Yeah.
So right. So we got William Sadler, we got Billy Zane in hands down Billy Zane's best role. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh fuck, he's absolutely incredible in this.
So we've got legendary B-movie actor and Gremlin star Dick Miller.
We've got CCH Pounder.
CCH Pounder is amazing. We've got Charles Fleischer, the voice of Roger Rabbit, amongst many other things. Jada Pinkett, William Sadler, John Schuck. So John Schuck.
We must also note that as it's a Tales from the Crypt movie, the Crypt Keeper is in it. So the legendary John Cassier, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, is on board.
The Crypt Keeper. So this being the less well-known film, we should probably preface with this was a spin-off of the 1980s TV series Tales from the Crypt, which is a horror anthology series which is based on the 1950s EC comic horror series Tales from the Crypt.
Yep.
The 80s TV series was produced by like Walter Hill, Robert Zemeckis, so it's like big names.
Yeah, well, actually, I noticed that the other day that they were still producers of this movie.
Yeah, so like you're talking like some of the big names in Hollywood were fans of EC comics and horror comics when they grew up. So I mean, Tales from the Crypt is a long series, anthology series, so not everything's going to be a banger, but there's a lot of great things, and it was popular enough to spin off this.
Was Richard Donner one of the executive producers?
Yeah, Richard Donner as well. Yeah, Richard Donner. Richard Donner did a couple of episodes as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That surprised me when I read his name on the credits the other day.
Yeah, it explains the cast of this as well, which was high profile for the mid-90s. I think they made this, and then which was quite popular, as we mentioned before.
Yeah,
and they made Bordello of Blood, which is not great.
That's the least well known of the two films out of these two films that we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, and then they didn't make any more.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
It's not great. I watched it on the strength of Demon Knight because the kind of companions they followed each other, because it was going to be like they were going to make a whole load of like Hollywood features,
and then they didn't because the second one was shit. Then.
Yeah,
that's a shame. I would have loved to see more of these because this one was so good.
Yeah, so the setup is quite simple. It's a siege film. It opens with William Sadler's, who you eventually find out is a kind of a demon hunter of old, inherited the power using the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
And he's chased by Billy Zane, who you get the impression is like the face-changing leader of the demons.
Yeah,
maybe the devil.
Could be, yeah. I don't know.
So maybe the devil. Let's say he's the devil. Because he turns into a big devil thing at the end.
But then he gets replaced into something else, yeah. It's a different guy at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, so I guess he comes back as something else. So I guess they kill his material body and he keeps coming back.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Yeah, you're right. He does turn into a big evil thing.
Yeah.
Like what happens at the end of Hellraiser.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. It's a big skeleton dragon.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a connection to the first episode we did.
Yeah.
All those time ago.
All those weeks ago. distant weeks ago.
So yeah, and then William Sadler's character holds up in a hotel. It's a big, massive hotel.
Yeah, it's a strangely deserted town. There's like literally no one else in the town except for the people who live in this motel.
Yeah,
I think you get the impression there's other stuff around, but there's no fucker else there.
Yeah. So William Sadler holds up. Sheriff comes. Billy Zane tricks his way into getting escorted to the hotel. Mm-hmm. You know, one thing leads to another. He punches an entire hole in the guy's skull, and then like tries to shake his body off his fist.
Do it. It's ludicrous.
And then
that's
find
the
out,
reveal, because you don't know, because he's basically tricking the denizens of this motel into thinking he's the good guy.
Yeah, when in fact he is the bad guy.
He's actually literally perhaps the Antichrist.
So there's a lot of cool little aspects of this film that play together to make it really appealing. I'll talk about the best one last. But we've got William Sadler is great, amazing cast, like ensemble cast.
Danny Elfman theme tune.
Yeah,
which is the theme tune from the show as well.
Yeah, the music's really good as well. The incidental music's really good. Great cast. There's a lot of little iconography. All the little the key he's got with the blood of Christ. So William Sadler. I think it's later kind of explained he's like a World War I, World War II soldier. Yeah,
he's been alive essentially through the power of the blood of Christ that he's been carrying around.
Yeah, so basically Christ is on the cross and he bleeds out, and the first demon hunter collects the blood and like kills the first demon.
Yeah,
and then throughout time there is this demon hunter that will use this blood in this vial, and it's really cool because like the blood itself repels the demons, but it also seals places.
Yeah, so you can pour a bit into a porchway and it will do a magical seal around the porch, and these things can't get inside.
So that makes it a really cool like conceit for a siege movie that doesn't... It kind of takes away, because when in a siege movie, you need a scene where people are like nailing windows shut.
Yeah.
And like all he's got to do is like drop a bit of blood.
But I mean, it doesn't always work, because there's a bit where someone smashes through a wall and like, you broke the seal.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not infallible.
No, not at all. So yeah, and then Billy Zane, as you mentioned before, cuts himself and lets a bunch of demons out and stuff. And you can only kill them by shooting them in both eyes.
Shooting them in both eyes, which leads to the eruption of this green energy, because they have green eyes, these demons, glowing green eyes. They look cool as fuck.
Yeah, they look really, really cool.
They're like the same sort of effect from Demons, the 1985 movie.
Demon.
But they have yellow eyes.
Yeah.
But it's a similar effect. They're clearly backlit, aren't they, in some way in terms of makeup.
It causes damage as well. It's like an explosion.
Yeah, that's right. You shoot them in both eyes. They're green eyes, and there's green destructive force ray, energy beam, whatever you want to call it, flies out.
But yeah, demons are cool. So then, the last thing that makes this really, really appealing is Billy Zane. So I'm convinced that any generation that thinks Billy Zane is cool has seen this film, because obviously you got the Zoolander cameo, you got him in Titanic, you got him in The Phantom, which is a great film.
Yeah, you're right.
But Slam Evil, the tagline for The Phantom. But he's amazing in this. Like, he's got A-list charisma in this. He's so good. My favourite bit in the whole film is so innocuous. It's like he's trying to convince... So Thomas Hayden Church is in this, who plays Sandman
Of course,
in Spider-Man,
that was
Spider-Man
one
3.
person we missed out.
And obviously he's in that sideways wine middle-aged film that I don't really like. I'm not yet a middle-aged white man. I don't like wine. So when I watched Sideways, I was like, what's all the fuss about? Which kind of sucked because I was in like uni studying film at the time and everyone hated me. But no, Thomas Hayden Church is it. He's like the bad boy. He's the knobhead.
Yeah,
and Billy Zane tries to tempt all of the main characters into like letting him in. And when he tempts Thomas Hayden Church, he caves and he's like, all you got to do is like wipe a little thing. And he opens his mouth and he's got like a rolled up sponge in his mouth. He just opens it and it like rolls out and he catches it in his teeth, and it's one of the coolest things that anyone's ever done. It's real. It's not like a special effect either. He's just got a sponge in his mouth.
I can't think of a single other time I've seen that on screen.
Yeah,
someone having an entire sponge in the mouth.
Yeah, but he's really great. He's like mustache twirling villainy, but he's also kind of, when he tries to tempt them, he's very like kind of sexy cool. Yeah. Like he can give them the world and everything.
Yeah, he did. That's how he tempts another one, isn't it? There's a prostitute involved in the proceedings, and she clearly has an unhappy life because he sort of tries to. And she's like, she sees him outside, and he sort of whispers to her and tries to tempt her to let him in because he can take her away from all that.
And he's got like kind of like Freddy Krueger powers as well, because he takes like Jada Pinkett into like her. This is her ideal like existence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he's got his Freddy powers. He's really cool. The effects work is amazing in this.
One thing that struck me, the demons, they kind of walk on these elongated demon legs, like how the like dog legs bend backwards like deer legs or whatever. So there's clearly like people on stilts or whatever, like they were in Dog Soldiers. The werewolves and Dog Soldiers, it reminded me of that. Yeah. Which obviously came later, but
yeah, the lower cast of demons, like the design is really good. They reminded me when I first watched it. They reminded me of the Crypt Keeper, which made him kind of cool because I like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah. I think just to go backtrack a sec. I think is it explained that when you kill one of those demons, that energy being expelled is like you release them. You release their soul from their pain or something.
Oh yeah, is that explained?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they basically, by killing them, you're saving a tormented soul as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, like I do like little kind of like B-movie horrors at this that hint at something grander, like the whole kind of eternal battle of good and evil, and like he's been doing this for years and everything. But the location doesn't have to kind of go into that because it's just a siege movie in like a hotel. Yeah. But yeah, it's really good. One of the things that I loved when I was younger was the practical effects on the ones that get tempted. So we've got the normal demons, which all look like the Crypt Keeper. They're all pretty much the same design. Yeah. But Wanky. When the main characters, one of the ensemble get infected by like Billy Zane, they turn into they're like Resident Evil boss monsters. So like Dick Miller gets like this massive mouth and tongue, and the prostitute like half her body opens and tries to, and
they'll turn into the tyrant, don't they?
The tyrant, yeah. And then there's a little kid later. There's like a little blonde kid, and he gets turned later, and his entire body turns into a mouth, and his tongue like kind of wraps around the neck and everything. Yeah, so it's really good, really overblown like effects work. It's a shame that it's not more well known.
Did he do anything else after this then? Obviously, he did Juice previously, as you said.
Oh, Dickerson. Yeah, he did quite a lot of stuff. He's still doing TV stuff at the moment. He's like them old 90s directors that like cut their teeth on iconic films and then, using that word again, iconic. And then kind of now he's just a jobber, just like does episodes of stuff. He didn't do anything as influential as Juice again.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything like this again. So he didn't. Do you know what? The only other horror film I think on his list that he directed was, you know, the one where Snoop Dogg plays a vengeful Bones.
Oh.
Snoop Dogg plays like a vengeful gangster.
Oh, wow.
That comes back and like kills all these other gangster
Wow,
mates.
I don't think I've seen that one.
So I have. It's really good.
I've seen. Is it Tales from the Hood?
Yeah, Tales from the Hood.
That was mint. I only watched that last year. That was banging.
That's also really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ernest R. Dickerson did Bones, which is great. But yeah, you mentioned John Cassir.
Did Billy Zane do any other horrors then? Because I only remember him doing this. I mean, obviously he was in Twin Peaks, which is horror adjacent, but...
Yeah, another horror adjacent is one of my favourite films of all the cast that are in it, Dead Calm. Have you ever seen that?
No.
So Dead Calm is...
They're stuck on a boat.
They're stuck on a boat.
I remember the trailer.
Sam Neill, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And they find... Well, Billy Zane drifts in, and they're like, is he genuine or is he sinister?
Did he get shot with a harpoon?
Yeah.
I have seen it.
I mean, it's set on a boat in the sea. Someone's getting shot with a harpoon. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I could have guessed that, couldn't I? But no, I'm pretty sure I have actually seen it.
Yeah, but it's, Dead Calm's a really good film, so that's horror adjacent. Can't think if he's done anything else horror.
I mean, Dick Miller was obviously Gremlins.
Gremlins 2, bunch of 80s films, bunch of Joe Dante films. I think he's in every Joe
He's
Dante
in The Howling.
Yeah, he's in The Howling. Yeah.
Plays the bookstore owner, where he goes and finds out about werewolf lore.
Yeah. Dick Miller. Racist old man from Gremlins.
in everything, yeah.
CCH Pounder's obviously great. It's really weird to see Charles Fleischer in this because...
I didn't realise that was him.
So he's in so much stuff. Obviously, he's kind of a legend of the 80s. Like, I think he's Saturday Night Live cast member. Obviously, he's the voice of Roger Rabbit. But I only ever think of him as Roger Rabbit and one of the potential Zodiac killers in the David Fincher Zodiac. The creepiest bit in the film where Jake Gyllenhaal goes to interview him, and he's almost...
And he thinks it's him. That's where he makes his mind up.
And you all think it's him. Like, the audience thinks it's him. He's like, this is a creepy fucker. He's going to kill him.
Yeah.
And that's Roger Rabbit.
Right. Gee, I had no idea that was...
Yeah.
Wow. Roger
strange.
Rabbit, a.k.a. the Zodiac Killer. Speaking of Roger Rabbit, there were some scenes in that scarred me. Definite horror adjacent scenes in there.
Judge Doom.
Judge Doom.
It's very scary.
When I killed your brother, Eddie. Just like this. Oh my God. I feel for a 9-year-old when it came out when I was like 9 years old.
So Judge Doom scared me. Obviously, I wasn't a very happy kid when he like melted the shoe.
No, the little poor shoe. That was awful.
But what really scared me in Roger Rabbit was the fake Jessica Rabbit. You know, when he goes to Toontown, he thinks it's Jessica, and she turns around and it's like this like psycho woman.
Yeah. God, I've forgotten all
I don't know why that scared me so much. Probably psychologically says a lot about me as a kid. But yeah.
All right.
So yeah, Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. 2
excellent Siege movies that I'm sure if you've watched them both, you'll agree will make a great double bill. Check them out if you haven't. Of course, sorry if we spoiled it for you.
Are we sorry? Am I really sorry?
Nah. You should have watched it before you listened to this. Why would you listen to a podcast about 2 films from 1995 and 6 and then expect not to have them spoiled?
Saying that, if you just watched the film, would you want to listen to us talk about it?
Yeah, I would, yes.
Okay.
Anyway, on that note, we'll leave you to it. We're back in a couple of weeks' time for another episode. Thanks for listening. Say goodbye, Ken.
Goodbye, Ken.
You did it again. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Live from Manchester Morgue is brought to you on the 2nd and 15th of each month by Gary Hames and Ken Talbot on Spotify, Apple, Amazon and all major podcast platforms. Follow us on Blue Sky at killertunes.bsky.social and at kendomustdie.bsky.social or email us at killertunes976@gmail.com.